Welcome to our Board of Commissioners meeting for January the 8th, 2015. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's been a long night. Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Capone. Spiegelman.
Here.
Sanchez.
Here.
Myers. Here. Markman.
Here.
Kalinowski.
Here.
Schreiber. Here. Bowman.
Here.
DePlacido.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
Gillespie.
Here. Here.
Jones.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Luker.
Here. Let the record reflect Commissioner Sapone is here. Could we all stand for a pledge of allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like Groundhog Day.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Vice President Stephen Klein for approval of the minutes.
Thank you, President Luker. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes for December 11th, 2014. And if nobody minds, I'm going to add in there the meeting minutes for the Board of Commissioners budget meeting of December 18th, 2014, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Thomas Bowman, Director of the Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Works agenda includes PW1. This is resolution number 15-006, the Edge Hill Road, Tyson Avenue Flood Control Street Reconstruction Project, PennDOT Transfer Agreement. This is a motion to approve resolution 15-006 for the Edge Hill Road and Tyson Avenue Transfer Agreement number 0641027, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
PW2 is Eastern Montgomery County Waste System Authority disposal of assets. This is a motion to accept the Waste System Authority's proposed disposition of assets and authorize the execution of a mutual release from any liabilities or obligations related to those funds, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Commissioner, I'm sorry, Sanchez.
Thank you, President Luker. Just a question, and this may be for the solicitor here. The motion calls for a mutual release, but then in looking at the actual release, it's sort of a one-way, us just releasing the county. Do we have the ability to negotiate this? Is this final document the one we're signing tonight?
I think this is a form release that has been prepared by the county for all 22 municipalities. While it's termed a mutual release, we are essentially just releasing the county because of what is actually transpiring here. The county doesn't need to release us from anything. So I think that's why there's no language in there regarding that. But it's been a release drafted by the county for 22 municipalities. So.
But, I mean, would it be an opportunity to have them release us for, we're giving them a omnibus release from all these liabilities or potential things? I mean, would it be?
I think, again, having read the release, we can, if you would like to go back and work on some of the language. But as I said, this has been submitted to all 22 municipalities. So it's, I'm not sure if the county's going to want to change this have different ones for different municipalities.
Can we investigate that, though? I mean, if that's I don't want to hold it up tonight, but with the.
Sure. If the board wants to approve it with the idea that if we can change some of the language to make sure that the language actually reflects a mutual release, we can reflect that with the county. Although, again, as I said, this essentially comes down to us releasing the county because of the whole issue regarding the assets. And they're not really releasing us from anything because there's nothing there's no cause of action that they would have against us regarding the assets.
Until there's a cause of action regarding the release of the assets.
Right.
So, okay. I'd like to, go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from commissioners? Commissioner Klein.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to the manager Lefevre, who actually sat on the Waste Authority board. And I want to, I appreciate it because I think in the original iteration of the dissolving of the Waste Authority, the assets were up in the air as far as what was going to happen to them. So I commend the county, I commend the Waste Authority Board, and especially Manager Lefevre for working on this. I think, it's a good solution that's going to work out for the municipalities involved. So thank you.
I appreciate that, and I think it's the most equitable solution for all parties involved. I think it's a fair agreement.
Okay, any other comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
PW3 is radiation equipment, Abington Transfer Station. This is a motion to accept the Waste System Authority's offer of $50,000 for the replacement of the radiation detection equipment at the transfer station, and authorize the board president to execute a release of all claims related to the same. And I so move.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Commissioner Sanchez.
I mean, same question here. You're going to think I'm release happy tonight, but should this be a mutual release?
I apologize, Commissioner. You're catching me a little flat-footed.
Sorry, this is the equipment exchange.
Yeah. Not that I want to make it sound as if the county said, this is what you get and you'll like it, but it kind of came close to that a little bit.
I mean, there may be less of a need for it here because they're,
While the solicitor's reviewing that, if I can just explain, the county's leased the property from us for the last 25 years. At the end of that lease, all fixed assets are returned to the property owner, which is the township, with normal wear and tear provided. Regarding the radiation equipment, it's still operable, but it's approaching the end of its useful life. The county recognized that and has made an offer of $50,000 payment to the township to replace that equipment when the need arises. The consulting engineer for the authority has estimated that cost at $35,000. So it seems to be a generous offer.
And again, one other aspect of this is we are releasing the authority, and the authority is going to, after it winds down a couple of things in the next month or so, is going to cease to exist because the county has terminated the authority. So, but again, whether or not it should be a mutual release is something we can go back to the county's authority solicitor and discuss.
thank you.
All right, any other comments from commissioners, staff, residents? Name and address, please.
I'm using this opportunity to ask you to slow down when you say comment from residents, all in favor, aye. You could slow that down and put a pause between.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
And we have PW4 is a solid waste disposal services contract. This is a motion to approve, as amended, the solid waste disposal services contract between Abington Township and Covanta.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Commissioner Klein.
Can we get a brief explanation of what the amendment was?
Sure. The original agreement that the board approved last month contained certain language where Covanta would still be required to pay the lease amounts. Covanta noticed after they agreed to it and signed it that it did not have any language that dealt with circumstances outside of Covanta's control, acts of God, fire explosions, or anything else not caused by Covanta or one of their contractors. That language was referenced in the original bid documents but did not make it into the original contract, and they've asked that that language just be added. Essentially, if Covanta does anything to damage the transfer station, in addition to having to repair the transfer station, they still have to pay us the lease payments. If, however, something happens to the transfer station completely outside of Covanta's control or at one of their agents' control, then they would not have to pay the lease payments while the transfer station is repaired.
Okay, any other questions? Any from staff? From residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
That concludes our business, Mr. President.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Ben Sanchez, Director of Code Enforcement.
Thank you, President Luker. Our committee has no business at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. Commissioner Vice President Klein has a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. So far, we've gone through 2 Planning Commission meetings presenting the draft ordinance, which is labeled Draft 2. Those dates were December 4th, January 7th. Those are available on YouTube and the Township website for viewing. Our next meeting will be Monday, January 26th at 7 p.m. In front of the Planning Commission again. And it looks at this point that there actually will have to be a 4th meeting because we ran over an agenda last night. So that meeting is Monday, January 26th, and the 4th meeting is yet to be scheduled. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein. At this time, I call on Commissioner Laurie Schreiber, Director of the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, President Luker. We have 2 agenda items this evening. PS1 is ordinance number 2086 to amend Chapter 156 Vehicles and Traffic. This is a motion to adopt ordinance number 2086, amending Chapter 156 Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2 Traffic Regulations, and 14 Stop Intersections, and Article 3 Parking Regulations. Section 25, parking prohibited at all times, no parking between signs, no parking here to corner, parking prohibited except certain hours, no stopping or standing, and Section 28, special purpose parking zones, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners, staff, or residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
MPS 2 is ordinance number 2087 to amend Chapter 156 Vehicles and Traffic. This is a motion to advertise ordinance number 2087, amending Chapter 156 Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2 Traffic Regulations, Section 14 Stop Intersections, for adoption at the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Commissioners on February 12, 2015, and I so move.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And that concludes our agenda this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Schreiber. At this time, Commissioner Spiegelman, Director of Public Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have 3 items for public affairs. PA1 is per diem union, the collective bargaining agreement. This is a motion to approve a 1-year collective bargaining agreement with the per diem union for calendar year 2015, providing for a salary increase of 2.6%, and I so move.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Any from staff? And any from residents? Name and address, please.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane, and at budget time, I asked if we could really sincerely work on formatting and getting documents that tell the stories that we need to have told, and this would be one of them, and this would be the time and the place to institute it, to get all of the salaries, so that when you have a per diem worker, the entire salary picture, including any pension payments and any, all the payments and all the costs to that individual are listed. At one point, I did a right to know to the township manager and asked for the records that were used to keep track of the salaries, and was told that they didn't exist in such a form that they could be found, and they need to exist for you folks to be able to oversee what the costs are. Because we have some people who, despite the $50 million in the hole that we are with some OPEB benefits and so on, still would like to bring on more people, and we need to be able to see that clearly. So at this point, where you're dealing with these things, I hope that you will begin right now. I mean, I'm not sure where that happens, because it's not going to happen right now at this motion, and I don't know that I'm going to see anybody with the will to walk away from this table and say, yeah, it's a good idea, we should do that. So I'm not sure how we get from where we can't oversee salaries and benefits to a place where we can in this township. So I'm asking if somebody will get back to me after the meeting and help me understand how we can institute that. Could I ask that that could happen?
Well, I don't know if the information you requested hasn't already been afforded to you. If someone could correct me, Township Manager LaFever.
If I recall correctly, the information Ms. Lehman requested, we didn't have in the format that she preferred to be supplied. We have that information, just not in the format she requested it. We're under no obligation to create documents to satisfy her interest. So if she submits a request and we provide the information and the material we already have available, we'll be happy to do so.
Actually, that's not correct. I asked Mr. LaFever to give it to me in whatever format he used in order to oversee it.
Well-
He said he didn't have any
Well,
such
we're not going to go
documents.
revisit that. You just heard the
Yeah.
answer that Mr. LaFever gave you, so let's accept that
Yeah,
as a
so how do we get
yes.
to a place? How do we get this discussion going in this township where I have put in a right to know to oversee the salaries and the benefits, okay, in any logical format, whatever format he uses, and I couldn't get them? And I assume then, that means that you guys can't get them. And that might explain why we have $50 million in the OPEB that we are obligated for that hasn't been funded. It's funded at something like, I don't know, 9% or something.
Okay, I don't want to get into a
17%.
discussion now, so I think you gave a valid answer to Mrs. Lehman, and we'll accept that as the answer to your initial question.
That's the answer to my question?
Yes, ma'am.
So the question was, where is the place that we can get that discussion going so we can get documents that we can see? And the answer was?
If you file a right-to-know request.
Correct.
And you do not receive documents responsive to your right-to-know request, there is a mechanism by which you can appeal to the Office of Open Records if you are stating that the township did not turn over documents which they have, which qualify as public documents, and which you requested.
My concern was that I was told there were no such documents.
And Mr. LaFever just said he told you that there were such documents. They weren't in the format that you requested.
I'll share with you that conversation and
Okay.
ask that we get that resolved.
Thank you. Okay, that was on PA.
We still have to vote.
I'm sorry. PA 1. Motion has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, next we have item PA2, Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Municipal Tree Restoration Program, MTRP grant. This is a motion to approve a $5,500 municipal tree restoration grant award to the Shade Tree Commission from the Pennsylvania Department of Commission and Natural Resources to demonstrate proper planting in the vicinity of power lines at four locations within the Roslyn Business District, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners, staff, any from residents? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And our final item is PA3, expenditure revenue increase. This is a motion to approve an increase in the expenditure budget line item number 01-24-156-5331 in the amount of $29,000 and to increase park revenue budget 4427 by $29,000, and I so move.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff?
What is this for?
Commissioner Markman? Doug Wendell, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. What happens during the year is that we have discount tickets, and we also have certain programs that have to pay for themselves. And sometimes certain programs will allow us to take more than the maximum number that's stated, because then the company that we contract with will just have more instructors, so we can expand the program's registrants. The other thing that happens is during the year, if it's a very snowy winter, we sell more discount tickets on ski slopes. If it's a pleasant summer, or at least not a brutal summer or a lot of rain, we sell a lot of more discount tickets than usual to the amusement parks. And these are all covered by the cost of the ticket. So that sometimes we have to sell more tickets than we initially thought we were going to sell in the beginning of the year. Actually, these estimates are made in the previous August. So it's always, the numbers, when we request this, it's always already paid for. It's just that in order to keep the budget legal and up to par, we have to request this change. So there's actually probably more revenue than the $29,000 that came in for that. All the expenditures are already covered.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. President, that concludes the public affairs business for this month.
Thank you. Public Affairs?
About what?
About that line item? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I mentioned any comments from residents. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
I'm a very strong advocate of our parks. We have a very great park system, thanks to Doug Lindell and his very faithful employees, and we should be very proud of what we have and maintain. They're very well maintained. And if you look at some of the other places that other townships have, they don't compare to anywhere near to what we have. We should be very proud of it and make sure that it's there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Doug, turn around and wave to the camera. So, we don't get to show you very often.
There's one person and a large group of people who make that happen. I appreciate Mr. Creedon's comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiegelman. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Vice President Stephen Klein, Director of the Finance Committee.
Thank you, President Luker, and I'd like to call upon Treasurer Jay Blumenthal for the Treasurer's report this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein, and good evening, everyone.
Nice bow tie. Nice bow tie.
Thank you. It's mainly women that always usually say nice bow tie, and very few men, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's an okay bow tie. It's fine.
I'm going to comment first on the monies deposited by the various township departments into the Republic Bank account. For the month of December, we deposited a total of $802,013, year-to-date of $18,274,596. On the monthly basis, compared to last year, this was an increase of $352,862, and compared to last year, year-to-date, an increase of $19,295. As for the real estate taxes for the month of December, we collected $95,956. That's a decrease over the prior year of $1,958. We have a balance to collect of $493,265, leaving 2%. Last year, the amount outstanding was 3%, so we're pretty much on target, a little bit ahead. I will tell you that my books are closed. As of Monday, I go up to the county. I take the lien list up, and anybody who is unpaid at the end of the year gets collected by a third-party organization. The business tax returns are going out either tomorrow or early next week. As a point of information, the mercantile and business privilege returns and the real estate taxes will be going out sometime around the end of January, beginning of February. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Blumenthal. FC1 Investments. Motion to approve investments for the month of November. As previously circulated to the board, it was noted that investments for the month totaled $910,000. Interest rate yield ranged from 1% to 1.05%, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners, staff, any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
FC2, motion to A, approve the November expenditures as previously circulated to the board in the amount of $3,913,697.35, and salaries and wages in the amount of $1,695,867.12, and B, authorize the proper officials to sign vouchers in payment of bills and contracts as they mature through the month of February 2015, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sakala? Yes. Spiegelman?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Kalinowski?
Yes.
Shriver?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Lucido?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Gillespie?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Luker?
Yes.
FC3, motion to approve the advance and travel expense activity for November 2014 as previously circulated to the board. Advance and travel expense reports were $0 and $1,795.69 respectively. 11th month expenses totaled $39,120.71, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
FC4, motion to approve the clearing fund. the deferred revenue expense activity and petty cash balances for the month of November as previously circulated to the board. November petty cash balances previously circulated to the board. Clearing fund receipts and disbursements for the month of November 2004 were $18,547.79 and $17,580.33 respectively. Deferred revenue expense receipts and disbursements for the month of November 2014 were $3,195 and $237.21 respectively, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, the motion passes.
FC5, motion to adopt resolution number 15-001, authorizing the finance director and his/her designate to invest township funds in any and all such financial institutions as permitted by first-class township code, and I so move.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Name and address, please.
Laura Lehman, Bryant Lane, and I guess I'd like to understand how this is different from whatever's being done now. Is this different? What are we anticipating investing in that would require this motion and this resolution?
Okay, Vice President Klein, you want to, or Kevin,
Yeah.
you want to, okay.
We do this every year.
Right.
Just a formal form? Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next agenda item.
Well, we have to vote on it.
We didn't vote on that? Okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
And for the record, some of these things that are coming up are all formalities in the beginning of the year that we set up for the Finance Department. FC6, motion to adopt resolution number 15002, adopting Kevin S. Barron as Chief Administrative Officer of the Township of Abington Municipal Employees Pension Plan, the Township of Abington Police Pension Plan, and the 457 Deferred Compensation Plans effective February 1st, 2015, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Name and address, please.
Laura Lehman, Bryant Lane. Just a quick note here again that, and possibly in the budget, there is some information on, our general overall finances, but on our website, and our new website is coming, I hope that we have a real financial report of, so that residents can go and understand how all these financial issues are being handled, in the new website, so that there's sort of an ongoing report that they can get to. So if you want to know about the pensions, you would just click on that pension area, and a description budget style might be there. So I'd just like to recommend that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
FC7, motion to appoint Kevin S. Barron as primary voting delegate, Jeanette M. Herman as first alternate voting delegate, and Michael Lefevre as second alternative voting delegate for the Tax Collection Committee, effective February 1st, 2015.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Commissioner Klein.
What's the S stand for, Kevin?
It's like Harry S. Truman, just S.
What's the S stand for? Thank you.
That's very personal. That's a right to know. You're going to fill out a right to know.
Mr. President?
Commissioner Farron.
Thank you. I just have a quick question, just curiosity, really. Before, I could see in the line of succession that, it was Susan Tiza and Kevin Barron and Jeanette Herman, and now we're adding the township manager as the third in line there. I was just curious why he wasn't on it before, or what would the motivation be to put you there now? And
Prior, Susan was our primary voting delegate, followed by Kevin and Jeanette, so just reshifting it.
so who would be in Jeanette's position
That hasn't
now?
been determined yet.
Oh, okay, so that's part of it. Okay, great, perfect, thank you.
Good question. Let me see, where were we?
We have to vote on it.
Okay.
Public comment.
Any comments from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
FC8, motion to adopt resolution number 15004, appointment Kevin S. Barron to serve as Assistant Secretary to the Board of Commissioners effective February 1st, 2015, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Any from residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Congratulations, Mr. Barron.
SC9, motion to adopt resolution number 15005, authorizing the disposition of certain finance office records as set forth in Exhibit A, and I so move.
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Any comments from commissioners? Commissioner Klein.
These are all statutory, these all meet statutory limitations for what we...
That's
for what
correct.
we dispose of. Thank you.
Okay, any comments from staff or residents? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
And our last item, FC10, collection of 2014 delinquent real estate taxes, has been deleted and will be discussed in further depth during the Finance Committee meeting next week. And that's the end of our agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Klein. That concludes our formal agenda, and I'll ask for any comments from the public.
I have a question here.
Yes.
This deletion of FC10, I have to clear my books with the county on Monday, and I have to give it to somebody on Monday, so this could be a big issue.
We had...
Tax claim is always the repository for those documents, whether or not we're using a third-party collector or not. So absent of having a third-party collector employed by the township, they should be cleared to tax claim. If a third-party collector is employed at the February meeting, then those records will go there. If it stays with tax claim, then they'll just continue moving forward.
What do I say to tax claim? That they're getting both? Because right now, tax claim gets school.
Right now, tax claim is doing the school.
Tax claim gets school and county. of
School and
course.
county.
Okay, that's Northeast Revenue.
Right. And through the tax claim bureau.
And what?
Through the tax claim bureau.
Yes, which
Right.
is collected through Northeast Revenue
Right.
Services. So in the past, I would not give them the township.
Okay.
Now you're saying I should give them the township?
Tax claim is supposed to get everyone's records, whether or not they use a third-party collector or not.
No, we have not had to give them to them in the past.
Yeah, the previous tax treasurers were not insisting on it, but the tax claim bureau is supposed to be the repository of all delinquent taxes, whether you use a third-party collector or not.
I understand this. You and I can discuss this
Okay,
after the
sure.
meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Comments from residents?
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. And Mr. Clevens, I'll be glad to show you some pictures of some parks. Maybe you can help me get them as well kept as you would like to see them be.
I think that comment violates our speaking rules, that the speaker's not supposed to address anybody in personal.
Okay, then, and I just would like to say
To the
that
point, Mr.
we have some parks that need some
Thank you.
help, and I think we've endlessly heard that in this room, and I would certainly like to see those issues addressed when we have, some answer should be forthcoming, and none has been. So the parks remain. The particular park in Mr. Klein's ward is right across from the train station, and it is...
Commissioner Klein.
Commissioner Klein.
Thank you.
Okay, very important. And it has been like that for a long time, and I don't understand why Commissioner Klein doesn't do something about it. So we also had a real debacle in this room when we passed that ordinance that allowed the conditional use tonight, because the passing of the ordinance was something that should not have happened. We had literally, that particular developer received goodies, shall we say, for his allowing that compromise that happened 6 years ago. And only 8 of you allowed that word to be reneged on. And it should have been upheld. There were commissioners, and you all, many of you, were involved in voting that particular ordinance in that way as a promise to the residents that if you concede these things, this is what will be the result. And as soon as they were able, they turned it around with the blessing of 8 of you. And I think that is a township disgrace to have done that. And then to leave the family restaurant thing up in the air when you knew that it needed to be nailed down and should have been nailed down at the time of the ordinance as to what a family restaurant meant. And then again, many of you allowed that to sail through tonight, when very clearly that is not what anybody conceived of at the time that the words family restaurant were written in that ordinance originally. And I think everybody in this room is aware of that. So those kinds of dupes and disgraces that are negatively, they're against the interests of the residents, should not be happening in this room. And I hope that some of you will rethink the way that you're handling things, and I pray that the citizens will appeal. I also, in the zoning rewrite meeting last night, was absolutely appalled to hear that there is no connection to green space, which is being given away as a bonus, and that there's no connection with green space and the sewer problems, and no connection with green space and that the stormwater and the sewer problems are not connected. And I also was told that all these millions of dollars that we're spending are not a result of what's happening in our room, where we are waivering zoning and about to pass a major zoning rewrite of the entire township, where part of the features are to give away green space in a township that is flooding so dramatically. It is insane to think that we have people guiding us that believe that there's no connection to the amount of green space and the amount of flooding that we have, and the people who have had to walk away from their homes in cases, and other people who watched their cars float downstream. And I have the weather charts from the National Weather Service from 1965 on.
Okay, Mr. Lehman, you're rambling on. Did you want to close your comments?
Yeah,
Because I allowed you
I'll
2
just
extra minutes.
I'll just say that if we don't understand the connection between giving away our green space, which we have done at an enormous, rapid rate, and the fact that the storm water is rising, then we have a problem, because it isn't the rain, and I'll show you the charts, okay? That's a huge concern, and I hope that we can address that. I hope all of you are concerned about that. It does involve the health, safety, and welfare of your residents, and you've taken an oath that everything you do, including passing that conditional zoning tonight, should be with the health, safety, and welfare of the residents, according to your oath.
Thank you. Comments from residents?
Hi, Victor Crevens, 840 Maple Avenue. In lieu of the fact that we've recently had some awful tragedies happening in this country with the killing of police officers, etc., for no reason at all, I think it would be a good idea if it isn't being done. I did it the other day, and I put a big smile on a police officer's face because I went up to him and I said, "Thank you for the good job that you do for us." And that goes for the policemen, the firemen, and the EMTs, because they're all willing to sacrifice their lives. And when I was done, he said, "Sir," I didn't even know the man, but he said, "You made my day." I put a smile on his face. I was probably the only person that said that to him, but he was very happy. So we need to have that be our motto. Let's try to say that to at least one person a day. I think it'll make everybody very happy.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from residents? If not, we'll start with Commissioners upon comments from commissioners.
No comment.
Commissioner Spiegelman.
I'll keep this brief, as I'm known for doing. This month, specifically Monday, January 19th, is the Martin Luther King Day of Service. And in commemoration of that, two great Ward 11 organizations, the Abington Fire Company and the Abington Memorial Hospital, are teaming up to to collect goods for Cradles to Crayons, which is a West Conchie-based organization that provides clothes and school supplies to kids of underprivileged families from birth to teenage years. At Abington Memorial Hospital here in Abington, in the cafeteria between January 15th and January 18th, they'll be collecting kids' clothes and school supplies. And they'll also be collecting on those dates in the other Abington Health locations in Lansdale and Willow Grove. And then on Monday, the 19th, Abington Fire Company will be collecting everything. You can come and bring donations for Cradles to Crayons. Contact me for more information. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiegel. Commissioner Sanchez.
No comment this evening, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Myers.
Thank you. I'm sure everybody's wondering what my beautiful blue bow is for. It's in recognition and support of our police department and all of our emergency services. And Chief Kelly, I think everyone in Abington agrees that police lives matter.
Thank you, Commissioner Martin.
At the risk of being late, I actually do have something to say. I got an email from a commissioner in Upper Dublin the other day, which I was really, really proud of. Basically, it said, "Happy New Year. Just wanted to share something with you. At lunch today, one of your trash driving operators driving truck 207 on Kimball Avenue saw a very elderly old woman shoveling her sidewalk. He stopped, jumped out, and finished up for her. He says, talk about customer service. My residents, my Upper Dublin residents, on the other side of the street have started calling me to get the same treatment in Upper Dublin." He said, seriously, you can't put a value on an employee like that. So really, and this is someone I've known for many, many years. He's been in Upper Dublin for probably 20 years as a commissioner. Great guy. And so I emailed it to Ed Michelow, and what I'd like to do is commend James Vini, is that the correct pronunciation? James Vini for doing this, and apparently he does it quite often. He just goes out and helps people. So I wanted to bring that out to everyone, and I was really proud to get this email from long-standing commissioner in Upper Dublin. So thank you, James Vini.
Thank you, Commissioner Kolonowski.
Happy New Year, no comment.
Commissioner Schreiber.
Thank you. I have a quick announcement concerning the Roslyn Film Festival. The call for films, if you or anybody you know is a filmmaker, the early discounted price ends at the end of January, and then all films are due by the end of February. So if anybody knows anybody who makes films, who might have a short that they're interested in submitting, it's a $15 entry fee if they get it in by the end of this month, and it goes up to $25 up to March 1st. So get those films in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowman.
Just to remind township residents, they can go ice skating at the parks at Crestmont. The township provides ice there, and at the little park over by South Campus, and then at Jolly Molly's in Glenside, at Pembroke, they call it. So if the nets are out, then the ice is safe, right, Doug?
That's generally correct. It'd be good for them to give us a call because weather changes so frequently that it might take a few days for the ground to harden and then fill it up and then the ice to freeze. So call our office at 215-576-5213 and we'll be able to tell you whether they're safe to go out.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner DiPlacido.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one quick one. It's chilly out there, and the roads are a little bit slippery, so please, when traveling through Abington Township, drive like your kids live here. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Farron.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'll try to be brief given my previous conversation.
A lot of people say that.
A lot of exciting things going on in Glenside. If you haven't seen the new fields that have been done at Glenside Weldon, please take a ride up there. The school district, I think, did a pretty good job. I'm going to see, hopefully, the neighborhoods are going to be using that pretty much, and our kids can be out there playing safely. In Keswick Village, there are a lot of changes going on, and there is a neighborhood meeting on the 21st of January at 6:30 at New Life Church in the main sanctuary. The developer wants to meet with residents and neighbors and discuss some of the proposed ideas he has, and some of the business owners and proposed business owners have for that area, so I encourage everybody to go out there. I'm just taking a look at the Martin Luther King Day celebration coming up, and given everything that's going on in the world, I think it's obviously very timely right now that we have that situation. And then I'm also called back to what just happened in France, if people are aware. In France, Charlie Hebdo is a satirical newspaper, and they were attacked by some extremists, and 12 people lost their lives. And you might be seeing on social media what's coming out as Je suis Charlie, which means I am Charlie, and it's kind of a similar movement of solidarity that, what's happening in our country and what just happened over in France underscores not just the value of dialogue and ongoing communication, but the freedom and the ability to express ourselves completely and safely without retribution. And stifling that in any way stifles any sense of advancement that we can make as a country, as a people, as a global nation. So please, if you can get there on Monday, do so, but more importantly, in everything you do every day, in all of your actions, whether you're dealing with your neighbors, whether you're dealing with our fine police department, whether you're dealing with whomever around the world, keep that in mind, and actions speak louder than words. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillespie.
Sure, just one thing. I let Commissioner Farron speak for me. He did a very good job. But I do want to say, since it is so cold, do check on if you have any elderly neighbors. Check to make sure they're okay or that they're warm. Sometimes people don't want to let you know, so consider that. And also, Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you. Commissioner Hecker.
Thank you, President Luker. Just one brief comment. To Mr. Creven's point earlier, there has been an event organized tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the intersection of Old York and Rockwell Road, and it is an opportunity for residents of the community to express their support for the Abington Police Department and all local police who put their lives on the line on a daily basis in service of the community. The event will take place between 5 and 7 o'clock in front of the Abington Shopping Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, President Luker. Happy New Year, and on a personal note, happy birthday to my 13-year-old daughter, Lauren. I love you, and no comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Klein.
No comment. Thank you.
And I'll wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock. I think we did great, Larry. And Michael, thank you all for all your help. And lastly, thank you, Larry, for another fine program for Dr. Martin Luther King scheduled for Monday, January the 19th. It's a very nice program. This year's recipient will be someone you all know, Honorable Garrett Page. Judge Garrett Page will be the recipient of our award this year. So if you can stop by, please do so. Again, thank you very much, and thank you for this evening. Good night.